Hey guys, it's me, Dan Patrick, and I'm back with another one. And today I want to shout out the music that's playing. This is Game Chops and Joe Cobby, I believe, but this is some good lo-fi by them. Anyways, so today, as you can see before you, I am looking at the GameGear logo. I thought this logo was pretty much good until I looked at the real logo. And then I realized it's not very accurate. So if you search anywhere, just Google searching the GameGear logo, you're going to get something like this. This hard-cornered sans serif font. I don't know who made this originally, but this is, you'll pretty much see this copied throughout every single SVG or PNG you're going to find in this logo. It's usually something like this. And this is just simply not the real logo. I'm not sure I'm not sure if this is based on some kind of alternative version of the logo, or if this is just somebody who typed up a font and then stacked it similarly and said, there you go, that's close. But today I'm trying to make the real logo, the accurate logo. So here is a great image of the GameGear box. Let me get my current work out of the way so you can see it better. You can see the logo here. Now, it doesn't have to have the gradient. I'm going to add the gradient as an alternative version, but I'm also going to have just a simple black version like I have here. But I want to get this shape work correct. Now you can see, like, look at this. A has a curve, the M has a curve, the M has a curve, E has a curve. So I'm going to add all of that in here, and I'm going to go explain kind of what I'm doing so far. So anyways, I'm going to try to make this video, guys, a little bit more focused than my last one. I feel like my last one really was just simply too rambly and too crazy. So I'm trying to, show something actually happening in this video and not just me talking about stuff happening. So anyways, so you see I've already gotten a good bit along on this one. I misspoke when I was doing my Game Boy logo last time. Let me see where it was. This kind of thin logo, which I now have completed. Move this guy out of the way. So I was working on this one last time, and I was just having like, I would draw like one line, and then I would copy that line to over here. And I went through the logo doing that, and I realized that was not the correct way. The correct way to do a logo like this, where you don't know what the font is to get a box that is this width, and then just tilt the box to be, copy the box a bunch of times, tilt it to be the correct angles, and then connect them all. That way your width is exact every time, as opposed to measuring it by this bottom section, which is what I was trying to do last time. So I'm done talking about that. But anyways, I found a better way to do that, and that has now influenced how I'm doing this logo too. So you see, what I was just talking about is you make one box, that's the width, and you say, okay, this is my width for this whole font I'm making up right now. And then I have the same width of all these, because this is the same box, and I would just rotate it, and it'd be like, okay, oh, not that. I would just rotate this and be like, okay, there's my, sideways part for here and all that. So you get what I'm doing. And even this is taking into account the correct width here. And I just did another offset path, like I talked about in my, which video was that one? It doesn't matter, but offset paths is where you have one line drawn, then you have the computer basically guess the line that's in the middle, and it gives you an exact thing. You can see the actual logo doesn't even follow an exact path in the middle. Like, basically this width and this width is actually slightly different. So basically the version that I have of this G here is actually more perfect than the original. That's not necessarily a good thing though. So I think I'm going to have two versions. One that is like the perfect version, better than the original type version, and then one that is the accurate real version, which would be more like with this up here and all that. Scaling this in a little bit. So I'm going to have a duplicate secondary version. I'm not going to worry about that right this second, but I'm just telling you that's kind of how I'm thinking as I'm making this. So I have all my boxes lined up. And the good thing about this logo is a lot of the letters are repeating. So once I make a G, I can just copy it over here. Once I make an A, I can just copy it over here. Once I make an E, I can copy it, of course here. The R is unique and the M is unique. So I've already got my boxes created and tilted to the right angles that fit nicely within these gaps. You can see some areas have a little bit of pixels showing, whereas other ones don't. That's so minor that I'm going to just not worry about that. I'm going to leave it with my same box width, because if I start trying to like make this slightly wider and slightly less wide, it's going to look actually a little bit wonkier than it should. So I'm actually going to leave it the, essentially slightly incorrect way but it would look more beautiful and perfect in the end. That's going to look better than having this be ever so slightly out this way and be slightly wrong. It would be better to just have it look like that, to me. Although, if you really want to get technical, yes, you could make this a little bit wider and be dead true to the original, but I don't know if that actually is going to look any better. It probably would look a little bit worse. So, and not to mention, I don't know if this picture of this box art is like exact. Like what if there's a 0.1 degree shift that actually makes it to where that sticks out more or something. I don't know. Anyways, so my next step is going to be essentially perfecting the letters that I have so far. So conjoining them and then doing some curvature and stuff. I've already conjoined this, so this was one piece here, and then this other part was another piece, and I went ahead and conjoined that. I'm now going to work on this A. And you see the curve that's back there. I'm gonna kind of work on that right this second. So what I think I'm gonna do first to make that curve happen is, let's see. The problem with these videos, guys, is I kind of come up with a solution on the fly. Oh, I need to have a guideline. There you go. See, I'm looking at. You can see. If I make the guideline, let's say here, then it's a little bit lower right there. Well, no, it's about exact. I take that back. And I'm like, oh, I almost want it to be like in between these two pixels, because I can't really tell, should it be this pixel or should it be that pixel? I don't know, I'm putting it in between. That way it's like the best of both worlds, basically. Move those back where they were. Okay, I'm gonna move my guide back. Since I went back a few steps, I undid it, so I'm going to put it right there. Before I do the curve, I'm going to go ahead and do this, just because this is easier to think about right this second. So I'm just kind of grabbing the ends here, and you see if that line is purple, that means I'm still lined up with where I was. See how it clicks and it's purple now? Dragging it down to the guideline, it says intersect, which means I'm dead on to the guideline. So I'm going to have all this stuff lined up nicely, guys. It'll be good. As far as I understand, when I'm done with this one, this is going to be the best GameGear logo on the whole internet that I know of. So that'll be nice. I'm going to conjoin that. Let's see. Do I want to do that now or do I want to do that later? You know what? I just thought of the best way to do this. This will be easy. I'm going to go ahead and leave them conjoined like I just did. I conjoined them. I'm going to delete these couple middle ones here. Now what I'm going to do now is this. So I'm going to do something that's going to look weird, but in the end it's going to be right. So watch this. I'm going to drag this line way up beyond what it needs to be. And I'm still having it be the purple, so that means that it's the exact same direction all the way like it was. I didn't move it. And then this one too, I'm going to kind of move up all the way. And I got that purple, so it's clicked right in the right direction again. Now I have this, and I'm going to try to end it there at that point. So let me take this down until they intersect right there. Again, this is kind of a weird method, but you'll see it's going to look right in the end. I don't even want this anchor point, really. I want it to just snap right there. Wait. Hold on. What? Okay, yeah. Okay, come on. Cooperate with me. Snap that right on there. But then I don't want 2 anchor points there. I only want 1. Now, did I do it? Yeah, okay, I did do it. You know why I did it? Or you know how I know that I did it? It's because you have this you have this little dot right here. That means there's only 1 anchor point right there. And the dot is what you can grab to do this curling of the corner. That's why I made this point exact up there. So Illustrator added this maybe 2019 or so, and ever since they've added it, I use it all the time whenever I'm making logos or trying to create really exact shapes. And just see, look at that. That almost does all the work for me. Look at there. I mean, that's perfect. You can just do such amazing curvatures with that. So yeah, I don't think you can do any better than what I just did for that. So that makes me really happy. And this is going to be the same for this curve here and for these 2 curves as well, up here and here. So, you know, it's just going to be a kind of rinse and repeat. Again, that's how a lot of these logos are, is once you have a method down, it's a rinse and repeat with how you do the other letters. This R will be a little bit different because this seems to be a unique curve. And then you have, you know, this part's nice and straight, but then you have a little end bit there. So I'm going to have to think through that in a minute. But I'm just going to keep going here with this same method, how I did the A there. So I'm going to go ahead and join all this stuff now because I already have it in a good placement within the orange. I already liked where I set it. I think it's nice and centered in all those boxes. I'm going to go ahead and conjoin it now, and of course now it looks like a mess, but that's okay because I'm going to fix it. Before I start fixing it, let me do my guideline trick. Let me lock the guide, that way I don't mess with it later, and I just locked it. And I'm going to do my anchor point dragging at the bottom here so that they all line up with that guideline. Because any logo really needs to have a good baseline that they all sit on exactly. Like if you're redrawing a logo and all the letters sit on different lines, you know, that's not going to work. The only exception to when stuff doesn't need to sit on baselines is something like this G, which you can see that it goes below. And it's supposed to because it's a curved letter, and curved letters like G's and O's, you know, commonly do not sit on the baseline but go a little bit below or a little bit above. So that's perfectly normal. I'm going to start deleting some anchor points I don't need here. Okay, so I guess I'll work on this curve first since I'm already here. Let me go ahead and drag this guy down just a long ways. Ooh. And see, I don't even know where my letter is up there, but I can see the purple line, which means I know I'm clicked into the right angle. I'm just going to let go. And you can see the angle stayed the same for this line. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same for this one. And I did this way too far, didn't I? It's okay. I'm going to do the same for this one. All that I need to do is make sure that they have an intersecting point. So really I can just probably drag it to there already. I'm going to drag this one back to there. And I'm going to again delete one of these anchors so that that little circle will show up, which is right there. I'm going to drag this guy. Push it back a little. Right there. Let's get it right on the guideline. Okay. Needs to go down just a sliver. Ooh, right there, probably. I'm saying that that's it. That looks good. Okay, let's do the same for this curve here. I deleted an anchor point just there. I'm going to drag this anchor point way up here. Ooh. Again, I lost my letter, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to let it drop on the, when it turns purple. That way I have that angle the same again. And I'm going to also drag this one up. Oh, man. Yeah, this one needs to go up higher to intersect. That's okay. way up here. The point is they have to intersect. Okay. Click it there. Click this one here. And then again, I'm going to delete one of these. That way the circle will show up. There it is. Start dragging this sucker down. Up, not the whole thing. There you go. Okay. Now see what happened there. You see that looks all messed up. What happened there was I had the entire shape selected so that it grabbed every corner. And I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to grab that one corner. So I'm going to click on this one again. I used my, see there's a black arrow and a white arrow. You have to be on the white arrow, which is shortcut A. Then you click on this, and then you see you've highlighted just that one and not these other circle points. Then I can drag just the one. So that's what I had to do. Get it right around. Actually, you know what? Where's my top guideline? Come on. I'm slipping up. Let's go. Put this up here. Right? Is that good? Yes. Ooh, does it need to go higher than that? Does it need to go higher than that? The R even, what in the world? That, yeah, maybe it needs to be like there. Oof. Is that good? Is that good? I'm gonna say that that is good. Oh man. See, there's not a perfect alignment even on the original picture I'm looking at here. So I'm having to kind of work magic to make sure that it makes sense. Because the way I had this A second ago before I, like right there, is more like how the picture is. But it really should be at this line based on the other letters. So you got to pick one area and just go with it. You can't be shifting it based on your picture. You've got to kind of like, well, I don't know how to describe it, but I have to pick a line and go with it is what I'm trying to say. There, is that it for the M? That is it. Well, like an nth degree, tiniest amount higher up. Ooh, right there, I think. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to work on this curve here. I'm going to drag this one. Oh, not the. See, that's why you got to link. That's why you got to lock your guidelines. So I select it and press Control 2 to lock it. And grab this anchor up here. I'm going to drag this sucker way up. Ooh, okay. Where's my purple? There it is, right there. That's the same direction. That looks like it's going to have to go higher in a second because I think these intersect way up here again. Yeah, man. This is weird. It doesn't intersect until it's way off of the layer. That's just the way that curve is. Okay, here we go again. So I'm going to go right there. Yep. And this one too. Drag it right to that spot. Do my minus anchor point and get rid of one that's secretly on there. See, when I just did that, there's two that are stacked right there. And you can't see the two that are stacked, but I know there's two. Now there's only one because I just did the minus tool and deleted one. The two that were out of the two that were stacked. And then once you delete the one, again, that circle thing shows up. I select just that one, not the entire letter like I did last time. So I'm selected on just this one. And again, I'm dragging it up to the guideline. Now you see here, this one, should that be below? Is that like how that should be? Or is that, see, no. This should be on the guideline. But it doesn't look like it based on the picture, but it should be on this guideline right there. As opposed to like right here, which is where I feel like it should go. It actually should be right up there, you know, with the line. Right up in here. Because again, you got to be consistent. You can't just be like, well, the picture is slightly lower on this one and slightly higher on this one. Because your logo, you'll end up with something that just looks a little bit wonky, and that's not what you want. Okay, now this one here. Is, you know, flat on the top and the bottom, which makes it easier. So my box was a little bit below this line. I'm going to drag it right up to the line. And then for this, I'm going to drag that down there. I'll drag this one up, although that doesn't actually matter, but I'm just doing it. Okay. Now my box below here was a little bit too low. I'm going to drag that up just a hair. And then this line I'm going to take in right on the anchor, or the, I keep saying anchor, I mean guide. This is a guideline. That's what they call it. Okay, I'm just gonna, oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, so one thing I gotta do, so basically this has a line here. All these are following the same angle as this. So to make those exact, what you gotta do is you gotta copy this line, and you can either measure it to this box, or you can, like, you know, get a little line like this, and just kind of hold it next to all of them. I mean, it's the same difference. Let me take both of these anchors back a good bit to where I can see the red, and I'm going to drag it to where I think the red should go, which is probably about there. And I'm going to drag my line all the way down. So that's the same angle as this, exactly the same, not even a minute difference, it's exactly the same. And I'm going to have all these lines match up to that line. Now you see the middle one, I can already tell, is supposed to go in. That's not a margin of error, that's just how that letter is supposed to be. It's supposed to be over here. So I'll do that in a second. For the top one now, I'll go ahead and drag that to there, and then this to here. That's going to be perfect. And then the bottom one does line up with the top one if you're following this line. So I'm going to go ahead and get that one going. So right there, and right there. There you go. Now for this middle one, I'm just going to drag my line in and just kind of have it where I think that should go. Drag it to the line there. Drag it to the line there. Okay, and also I forgot the edges of this should curve. So I'm now going to think about that. Let's see. So what I'm going to do here. Well, first, actually, you know what? Let me copy what I have. One of the things in Illustrator that you should do is, as you go along, make duplicates of stuff. That way, as I'm doing this, and let's say I copy all this, or I merge all this stuff together, and I go, okay, I'm working on it, and then I realize, oh, this box right here needs to be taller. It's a lot easier to do that when they're all separate than it is, you know, shifting this whole letter around. So it's good to have a backup just in case you mess something up and you want to go back. You never know. But you can already see, look at that shape quality. This is looking great. Real happy with this. So let's just keep going. We're going to do the curves on the E. So I just joined this here with Pathfinder. Shape mode, unite. When you do that, it makes all the boxes connected as if it's one shape, which is what I want for right now. I'm going to do my little curve trick. Grab just that. Actually, you know what? Just kidding. I'm not going to grab just the one. I'm going to grab the top and the bottom because the curvature is probably going to be identical for both of these two. I meant to grab the circle. And I grabbed the whole letter. Okay, oops. It's looking like it is going to be different, isn't it? I'm going to do that there. That's the top one. The bottom one does seem to be going a little bit farther out. I don't think that's margin of error. I think that's based on the shift that is happening. So like all these letters, you know, have a shift to them, or you know, whatever you, what do you call it? Italic, of course. Since they're all kind of an italic thing and they're all skewed the same amount, commonly with this type of thing, the top will be a little bit of a different curvature than the bottom, just because, you know, it's all angled. That's just how that works out. So That's fine. So yeah, there's all of this word done, basically. So now I'm just going to work on the R, and we'll see if I can't finish this entire logo during this video, which would be a first. I mean, every other time I'd end up being like, oh, I can't figure it out, I got to come back later and study up on how I would do this effect and then come back later. This one, a little ahead of the game. I think I know what I'm doing a little bit more, so hopefully we can get there. You can see on this one, you really do see a good amount of a gap here, but I'm still going to leave it because I think that it really is supposed to be this width. And it's more of a picture flaw than it is my shape flaw as to why you're seeing some pixels on the edges of this box, because this box is the same width as all the other letters. And it wouldn't make sense for the font to have a slightly, ever so slightly differently widthed line for just one letter. Like, that's not how it works. Fonts don't work like that. Once you make one line width, that's how it is for every letter in the font generally. And there's only a few exceptions to that. I mean, from my understanding, that's how stuff works like that. Fonts, at least. Okay, so I've got this box and this box. That is looking promising. Now, this is not taken into account this part. I'm going to worry about that in a little bit. And I'm also going to grab this guy. Let's see, I think, is my E line the same as that there? No? It's supposed to be a good bit lower, isn't it? I always like to, if I ever find, as I'm going, if I ever find a font where it's like, okay, this should line up with this, or if it's like this should line up with this R, I want them to line up exactly. But I can tell by the amount that this is off that it's not supposed to. It just wasn't made that way, so that's okay. But if it looks like it's margin of error, then I know, okay, that was supposed to line up. But this one wasn't, so I'm making it a little bit lower. Probably in there. That looks great. Okay, let's see here. To do this curve correctly, I'm going to start and draw this outer part, and then I'm going to do an offset path to the inner part, which is what I did on the G. And I did that before I started streaming here. Or actually, I'm not streaming, I'm just recording. I don't even have a streaming setup. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to start it there. I'm going to go here. I could just start with a perfect circle, but I don't think this is supposed to be a perfect circle. This outer shape. I don't think that's like an actual half circle. I think it's a little bit more customized than that. So that's why I'm not doing it like that. I'm kind of making my own curve here. Okay, I'm just kind of, looking at how much red is showing and seeing if an even amount is showing for the whole thing, this whole curve. Getting a curve right is kind of a back and forth. As you can see, that looks pretty even there, so I'm going to say that's it for that curve. I'm going to move, or I could hide. Maybe I should just hide it to save time. Here's my layers panel. This is all the pieces that are in this document. I haven't really talked about this, but here's this line in the layers panel, and I'm going to hide it by taking away this little eye so I can't see it, but it's still where it was. I just can't see it anymore, so it's not in my way. And now I'm going to continue this curvature down to here. Oh, am I? Let's see. Yes. Right. Okay. I'm going to change my anchor point, this one, to a, what do you call this, smooth? That way it has this exact same angle of curvature on either side of the anchor. So that'll give me a nice, perfect curve there. That's looking pretty good. Let me see it outside of the drawing and just see if it looks nice and smooth. Yep, that looks real smooth to me. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to say that's my curve for that. Now, let's see. I'm going to do this little curve here. Okay. I'm going to drag this anchor to be right lined up with that there. And I'm going to just kind of get this line to be the angle it needs to be, which is probably there. Right in there. I'm going to make this a lot shorter. And now I'm going to bring back my hidden shape. I realize this is going too high. I need it to go kind of farther down like this. Let me do this. I'm going to make this just a line as well, not a box. It's kind of sometimes hard to explain what I'm doing, guys. A lot of things are going through my head all at once. I've never had to explain how I draw logos before or anything, so it's kind of a weird thing for me to figure out in my own head. Okay, I'm going to drag. Well, okay, let me just. You see what I did? I made my box just be a line. So even though you can't even see the line barely, that's it right here. Instead of being a box, because it'll make it a little bit easier for me to connect this correctly. So the top line of my box here, I'm going to kind of make it to where it intersects with that little angled line. And I'm going to do a little curve for this thing. I'm going to hit Control and J to join those two anchors. I'm going to delete that anchor so that there's only one in there. So now I have this. You know, while I'm here, let me go ahead and do this too. I'm going to make these anchors line up with my guideline here. So slowly but surely, we are definitely getting there on this one. This one's not going too bad. I'm pretty happy with how this logo is coming along. So I'm now going to do my little drag and curve thing and just kind of get a little good curvature on that guy. So that's looking real good. You can see that looks nice. Let's kind of have it away from everything to see it better. Yeah, not a bad little curve. So I'm going to go with that. This is going to be a similar thing here. So let's see. What I will do for this. I'm going to make this a line too, so that I can tell what I'm doing a little bit better for me personally. So back to being a line. Now, you can't see it as well, but I can kind of, I don't know, it works for my mind right this second, so I'm just going with it, even if it's not as clear to you all. It is a little bit harder to see, but I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to drag this line to be up above here. I'm going to drag this line to kind of click onto that other line. I'm going to drag this line below here. I'm going to grab both those anchors, do that, and I'm going to delete this one that's below. Because now that I only have one point there. So you see that was that blue line, that was my box that was here. I cut it and then joined it to this part that I had curving a second ago. So now I'm going to curve this part the way it should be. Let's see how much. Right in there. It's looking real good. Yep. This is looking good, guys. This is looking good. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I need to do this part. I didn't even do that yet. That's okay. But I still need to. Okay. Let's get rid of that guy. Let's... Okay, well, before I can move on, I need to worry about this counter for this R, the hole in the R here. And to do that, I need, like I said earlier, I'm going to do an offset path, and I need to have my outside part drawn correctly already. So I'm going to go ahead and get that figured out all the way. I've already got this curve over here, which is most of the work. So it's just a matter of connecting it all and making it what it needs to be. Let's, do I have another box that I can use? Let's copy this one again, just so I can get the correct width here. Okay, I'm going to click that right on my guide and drag this way in here. Drag this way in here. So see, that's going to be where that needs to end. I'm going to have this anchor kind of click up to that one. I'm going to have this one go way inside of this one. So that way, yeah, this is tricky, guys. This is a tricky thing. Click. Okay. Well, really, I've already got the inner part drawn just by the boxes. The only part I need to have drawn perfectly is this curvature. And while I could just, start going about all this, I want it to really match the outer line perfectly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the outer line off of here so that I only have that again. Now I'm going to undo it again. Just give me a minute, guys. It's a little bit of a trick. Okay, so I'm going to make this a line like this. So now I just have this little line based on that outside circle. So you get that. Now I'm going to do an offset path to really make sure that inner line is totally perfect. Yeah, that looks less perfect than I would have liked, huh? I mean, I'm looking at this. I don't care about this outer part. I can cut that off in a second. But this part here, let me just go in more. It's clearly not going in enough. Man. Yeah, I don't like this. Maybe I do need to just do this by hand and not worry about offset paths in this case. Because it just simply is not looking right, guys. I don't know about this. The G, it was essential to do offset paths, but in this case, I'm not sure. Okay, and you can see there's my regular box width. You can see how much that goes in. That's like way going in. Well, that's funny. I don't know. I don't know what I'm dealing with here, guys. Let's do this. I'm just kind of on the fly coming up with solutions because this thing's kind of turning out weird. I want that there, though. This is weird. Man. Literally, this kind of stuff is a brain teaser a lot of the time. Okay, I've got this line, but I got to come up with this line, and I know it needs to be from me dragging this over, and then somehow having a point to curve up here. But I already have this, and I like what that is doing, so I need to keep that. Can I like cut this here? Yeah. Oh no, no. Okay, well, man. Let me make that a line. Oof. This is getting tricky. This is a puzzle. Okay, I think I'm okay. I cut that line there, so I'm going to have this anchor point and that anchor point join with Control J. And then delete this anchor point. Okay, I already have this curve, not bad. I'm now going to get this one. That one, that looks great. Let's get that one just a hair more in. Right in there. Now I don't like what has happened right here. See that? That's going to be a little bit of a wonk. Let's look at that. No, maybe that's not noticeable. Yeah. Oof. Very subtly off, but barely at all. It's a nice curve. It's still a nice curve. I might just leave that. Oof, oof, oof. You know how to fix that would be if you could somehow just get rid of one of these anchors and then do the smooth anchor point. Basically, guys, with anchor points, the less anchor points there are, the more quality the curvature is. And like one of the first things when I was in college for graphic design was learning this pen tool, just drawing these lines like this. And they would say, you know, like, hey, if you draw something that has too many anchor points, it'll have weird curves and it won't look good. And that is a simple lesson that I learned early on, and it's 100% true. There you go. Look at there. That's a nice R, except the bottom is not right yet. I'm going to go ahead and drag up this just as a backup. Well, really, I mean, I probably ought to have a further back one even than that. I don't know. Just a backup. Before I started. Oh. Seriously? Wow. I just messed myself up. Oh. Guys, why am I stupid? Messed myself up. If you want to skip ahead now, now's the time, because I'm going to redo the part I just did. Trying to back it up, I actually ruined what I already have. That's okay, I know what to do now. I can do it quicker. Gotta rejoin this. Oh man, this is painful. Delete this one. I'm going to go fast and not talk over this. I'm just going to get it. Drag that to there. Delete that one anchor point that was here. Make that anchor point here a curved one. Turn this a little bit and make that a little bit longer. Make this a little bit shorter. Yep. Yep. Right in there. How about this needs to connect? I'm pretty much already back to where I was. I don't need this line. And I need these two to nicely connect. Control J. There we go. And I'm just going to do the join to get rid of that middle part I don't need. That ought to be it, I think. Except, again, the bottom part does not line up. I'm just going to do the guides here. Boom. Right there. Wait, was that on? It's gone too fast. Yes, it was on. And that there. Right there. Okay. So, let me kind of do my copying. This is the fun part, like you're already done. Again, I might go back and touch up this G when the video's over, just to make it a little more exact. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there, but it's pretty much where I want it. Gotta get this going where it needs to go. Huh, you can see here, wow, this is funny. Remember I was telling you I might touch up this G. Well, this G is off by different amounts. Like this one about looks closer than this one, and it's the exact same G. So that just tells you that it's the picture. So, oh man, I might just leave it at that point. Might have had it right all along, I think. Make those centered. I'm going to copy my 8. Well, I guess I ought to join this now, shouldn't I? Although I want to have a backup of this line, because I might need that later. That width. Join that. Okay, there you go. Drag my E here. Boom, right in there. Drag this right in there. Make that a black line. Right there. I'm just kind of getting everything centered up here, guys. Yeah, that's pretty close. It's looking real good. Why do I have that line there? I don't need that at all. So there you go. That's already a good bit better. How long is this video? 45 minutes. All right. Well, if you're willing to stick around, I'm going to do a couple of fun tricks to this now. So pretty much that's the whole thing. But I'm going to go ahead and get fancy now. So do a few extra fun things. So now I'm going to leave that where it is and hide it because I want to look at the original picture some more. Push that back out of the way. So I see this gradient. I'm going to add that, and I'm also going to add my outer line here. So let's get the gradient. So I'm going to have a box that I'm going to put my gradient into. Here's the gradient control panel thing. And I'm going to add just a generic gradient to it. I'm going to take away this stroke because I don't need that. And first what you do is I'm going to grab the colors I need for my gradient. So it's going to be this kind of red. I'm trying to find the right kind of dark enough one. Maybe that there. Hold on a split second. Okay, excuse me. Okay, so the red there, the yellow. Let's see, what kind of a yellow is this? Maybe that? That's a nice shade. Is that the right one? Kind of a nice orangey in the middle, which doing a gradient's already going to get that orange, but just in case it doesn't give me the right orange, I'm going to just eyedrop one just to kind of get the right vibes. So it's probably going to be that, but I'm going to start with just having the red and the yellow and see if I get that kind of an orange in the middle anyways. You'll get a smoother gradient essentially if you have less colors. Okay, eyedrop that. Okay, I'm putting a gradient on my stroke that I don't even want. I don't want a stroke. Trying to grab the fill color. Thank you. Okay, grab my eyedropper and grab this color. Then I'm going to change the black of this gradient to this yellow. Yay! Okay, there we go. A nice gradient. Now, there you go. That's looking good. Okay, so let's just kind of try throwing this in this gradient color here. Oh, okay, hold on a second. I need to change the gradient's angle. So I'm going to do red's on top. So what does it need to be? It needs to be 90, right? 90? No, negative 90. Negative 90. So the red is on top. Okay. Now let's grab that and throw the eyedropper on there. Well, okay. The degree of this is not, if I just eyedrop the gradient, it doesn't pick up the angle. So I'm going to hit negative 90. There you go. Now look at there. That's looking cool, right? I'm pretty happy with what's going on here. Let me, just for kicks, I'm going to put this color of this background just to make it look and feel real while I'm working on this. Although that doesn't really matter. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab all of this. Actually, change my mind. I changed my mind. I'm going to go back to the one that I hid. This one here. I'm going to put that gradient on that one. I wasn't fully thinking when I did this. It's okay, I didn't mess anything up. I'm just going to do it a different way. Negative 90 there. Okay, so that is the one I just drew. I noticed the red actually goes down a little bit farther, so I'm going to drag this kind of like that, which makes the red stay in it a bit longer, and then maybe the yellow actually stays up in it. Yeah, that's, man, that's close. Look at that. Man, that's nearly dead on there, guys. The red maybe needs to go down just a hair more, even. Yeah, look at that. Right in there, possibly. That is really close. Look at that. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Oh, well, now I realize that since I moved it, I have to go back, which would undo the gradient that I had. Okay, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to do a time travel. I'm copying this now. I'm going to go back in time to where that was back over there. I'm messing up my gradient again, but that's because I'm trying to get it back to the stage where this was lined up with this again. Then I'm going to hit Control V again to bring back what I copied from the future. So it's like a time traveling situation. But you can see the gradient's different than what I started with. This is the correct one. I'm going to make that this correct one again. Yay. Ooh, it looks good. Okay. So now to add the correct offset path or stroke, which one will be the best option? I'm going to start with a stroke this time. Not a stinking gradient. Are you kidding me? Oh, man. Wants to do a gradient. I'm just going to recolor this to be black. Really? Color it to be white. Why? Why? Okay, forget. I'm not. It doesn't want to. It's done this before, where like if something's a gradient and you try to make it other colors, it flips out. Stupid. Okay, maybe it should be offset paths then, but I really kind of wanted that to be a stroke. Ah, stupid. Trying to see if I can get this to cooperate. Okay, there it's cooperating now. Man. Excuse me. Alrighty. So with strokes, it just makes a line around stuff, which is great, but what I don't want it to do is cut inside the letter. I don't want my line to be coming in here. I want it to be only on the outside. So what you do is you make it external like that. And well, my stroke amount is about already correct. I just realized I'm going to have to add a curve to that R. But you can see up my direction is not correct. Negative 90 there. That's essentially it. I'm going to go back and touch up one or two small things, but that's basically it, guys. So hopefully you liked this one. So I'll see you later.